It's Janette Burke here, and this is going to be my last Dear Janette Live for 2022, and it is all about how to get coveted media spots for your business. And we know you want them. Everybody wants media. That's one of the best ways, if not the best way, to get exposure for your business and brand. And everybody wants media spots, but not everyone gets them. So we're going to talk today about how to get those coveted media spots. And I want to thank you so much if you're joining me. If you're joining me live, please let me know that you're here live. If you're here on replay, that's okay too. Just let me know that as well. Now, before we get into talking about today's coveted media spots, which is our topic du jour, I want to cover a few other things for people who don't know me. I am Janette Burke. I am a 4-time award-winning producer of the lifestyle TV show Janette's TV and its sister spinoff Janette's TV podcast. We are in season 12 with over 550 aired episodes featuring celebrities, thought leaders, game changers, CEOs, entrepreneurs, professionals, and so on and so forth, lifestyle experts on lifestyle topics, either directly or indirectly through interviews and through books and through movies and music and what have you that represent these lifestyle issues. And I'm also an on-camera media trainer as well as a producer. So what I share with you today is truly the way it is. I have been at this game of media for over 20 years. And I speak with a great deal of confidence when I say that I, as a media person, as a producer, know what we look for in guests. And what my colleagues also look for in guests. And my sincere wish for you, especially if you're trying to use media to grow your business and your brand in the upcoming year, and you want to make it part of your media plans and your marketing plans, is to have it that you are the type of guest that gets booked constantly over and over and over again, as opposed to the one and done. So let's get on with today's topics. And please feel free to either post a comment in the chat and I'll answer it, even if I have to come back and answer it. And share your thoughts with me or ask me questions, whatever you want. So, as I said at the beginning of in this Dear Janette series, is that everybody wants coveted media media placements, but we'll get what we want. So how do we make sure that we are picked and we are the one that producers want to feature on our shows and their staff want to book? Well, the first thing is you've got to understand how the media works and what they actually look for in a story. So work on different trends and times and themes that you often repeated over and over and over again in the media. Like, for example, right now, a lot of holiday type of stories. So you have to present a story to them that is newsworthy, that is topical, and it also has to be timely, and it has to connect with what they're already looking to cover. So that necessitates a little bit of homework on your part. So I know we all want media features, but we also need to know what kind of media features are right for our type of business. And to know that, you need to know what type of story you have. Is it lifestyle? Is it a business story? That's going to narrow down the type of media outlets, whether they're print, radio, TV, blog, internet, TV, podcast, so on and so forth, that would be interested in telling your type of story. So that's number one. So you need to research and you need to see what type of media outlet would be interested in your type of story. And before that, you need to discern what type of story do you actually have. Is it human interest? Is it lifestyle? Is it business? And then we all want to be featured, but see, we have this tendency to want to be featured on every single show out there just because we think there's audience. But the truth is, we need to be featured on the right shows that are right for us and our type of story, and where the audience rather is going to be hanging out, and that audience needs to match the target demographic of your ideal or diamond client. And if it does not, then you're wasting your time on that media outlet. I can't tell you how many times a day I get people hitting me up for spots on my show, writing me things like, oh, you have such a great show, so on and so forth. And thank you, but it's also very evident that you haven't done any research on my show, that you don't know what type of topics I feature or what type of guests that I feature. And you need to know that, because when you send a pitch in that isn't even really a pitch and that is just like that, the first thing my colleagues and I in the media do is ignore it or delete it or throw it in the garbage, because we know that, in fact, you know nothing about our program and the type of clients or guests that we feature, or the type of stories that we feature. So we know that you're just hitting us up because you think the numbers are good. But we want real, tangible stories, and we want them to impact our audience. So we're going to look at that, and we're going to look to see what are you bringing to the table. So when you're looking to have a coveted media spot, you got to know these things, and you got to know how the media works, and you got to know the media timelines and their deadlines and their turnaround times, and when to pitch the story and when to contact them and when not to. And you also got to know what your story is and how to pitch the story. And that requires a document called a media pitch letter, which I'm not going to get into today because we could do a separate live on that in the new year. But I am telling you that this is all part of how you get coveted spots. The next part is being prepared for that coveted spot. So congratulations, you've got a spot. And you've done the work that is necessary to get the spot. So now what? What's the next piece? Having the spot is not enough. You have to be prepared for that spot. And that's really where I come in, because that's the type of stuff that I do for my clients. Make sure that they are prepared for that spot so that they are not wasting a golden opportunity for publicity and exposure that they may never get back, so that they are not put on the spot, taken out of context, made to feel uncomfortable, and it shows, so that they may be misquoted. All these things can happen, and they can damage your brand and credibility if you are on a spot on television and you're not prepared, or even if you're written about in a national publication and you're not prepared. Because if you're not prepared, you're at the mercy of the journalist or the interviewer or the host. And you're only going to have seconds to get your message across, and you have to make the most of every second. That can't happen if you go into an interview unprepared. And worse, if you are unprepared, not only what I just depicted could happen, but you could also be cut off and asked to leave or never invited back because you've shown yourself as an unprepared guest. And therefore, you're not connecting with the audience, and you're not presenting yourself as the type of guest that we in the media want. So coveted spots go to people who show me that they deserve to be there, and that they have the right kind of story, and that they know what type of guests and stories we feature, or I feature, or my colleagues feature. And that they're actually prepared. So when I talk about preparing clients, I'm talking about what parts of your message are going to fit the segment theme that we want to go with, or that other producers want to take. How are you showing up from the minute you show up on camera? How are you relaying the specific parts of your message? Are you able to talk in sound bites? Are you able to have a flowy conversation and back up the points that you're saying with relevant stats or stories? And we talked about that in one of my previous Dear Janette's, and how to do that. Are you the type of guest that has good body language, good voice techniques? Do you have the right image that supports your brand and speaks to your credibility? These are the type of people we like to feature. So it's not just about your story, although that's a big part of it. It's also about how you show up. And that requires preparation, which in my case is on camera media training, and everybody needs it. Even if you're not contemplating going on a media tour, but especially if you are. And even if you're just making videos and lives for your business, you still need to show up on camera and show up well. Every time you go on camera, remember this: your brand and your business is at stake, and it's up to you to build your credibility and engage with the audience and make them resonate with you in order for them to take the next step. So if you want coveted media spots, you need to know how it all works. You need to have the right story for the right media outlet. You need to show me that you know something about it, and my colleagues too, that you're not just blind pitching us, because it's obvious when you do. You need to show us that you're prepared. You need to show us that you can handle that segment and that you can handle it well. And you need to show me that you have some understanding of how the media works. Now, if this describes you, great. And if it doesn't, hey, don't worry. There are lots of ways we can get you prepared to start getting media in the new year and start becoming that desirable guest that gets booked over and over and over again, as opposed to the one and done. There's also something else you should know, and that is that we all want the best and the national media exposure, and we want to start out that way, the Good Morning Americas and similar type of shows, but we don't always get that in the beginning. In fact, it's better to work up to that and to have a hierarchy or a pyramid structure in place for getting media placements that starts more with local media. And again, if you don't know how to take this on, these are things I work with my clients to achieve, so that they do know how to progress and get the media spots, and they build a portfolio using this pyramid of hierarchy, and they become desirable. Anyway, we are out of time for today. So I want to remind you that Dear Janette, this live series I do to help you to dispel media myths and help you on your media journey, and also make sure you look, sound, and feel your best on camera whenever you go on camera, whether that's for a media or podcast placement, if you want to do YouTube channel, if you want to make your own videos and lives, or whatever purpose you have. That this series will resume in the new year on January, I believe it's the 9th, the second Monday of January. And we hope that you'll continue to join us. We are also changing how we're coming to you. We are now on Restream, so you can see us on a lot of different platforms all at once: Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And I also want to remind you to share your comments and tell us what you want to hear, because when you post those comments, you could actually wind up having yours featured on a Dear Janette live with a shout out by me. And we just really love your feedback. We love your questions. We want to invite you to participate with us and to make this time that we have together the best it can be for you, so that you get what you need out of it, because that's what it's all about. And I also want to remind you that if you are having trouble or you're struggling getting media spots, I'd love to hear about your media challenges. You can book a 1-to-1 15-minute discovery call with me. It's perfectly complimentary. The link to do so will be shown in the notes below. Or you can also visit www.janette, Janette, Burke, Burke.com, and look on the contact page and book your complimentary 15-minute discovery call with me. I'd love to help you through your challenges and even hear about them. And I will make sure that you get at least one good piece of advice that you can take away and apply immediately, even if you don't hire me. Does that sound like a good deal? I hope so. And other than that, I look forward to seeing you in the new year. I look forward to seeing you in the spotlight in the new year. And I want to wish you the happiest of holidays. Bye for now.